Hello my creatives and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to share a traveler's notebook junk journal with me, and we are going to talk about perfectionism because that is the thing that I am journaling about. As most of you know, I am a big advocate of sharing more about mental health, and I want to break the taboo around that. So by sharing my own struggles and my stories and tips and tricks, I hope to break the taboo and also maybe help others a little bit. So today I'm working in this junk journal and I'm going to document my struggle with perfectionism, and I'm starting off by adding some transparent gesso to these two pages because I'm going to work with some mixed media. And I added this transparent gesso to give the page a little bit more sturdiness to work on, but I didn't want to lose any of the natural paper that is in there. Also, I found this image in a magazine. You see that laying on the side right now in a Flow magazine. I just flipped through the magazines that I have laying around, and I find an image that suits me or suits my feeling at the time, and that will be my jumping off point. So this image inspired the whole, my feeling, of course, at first with perfectionism, and then the image inspired this whole traveler's notebook junk journal with me. I'm adding some strips now of paper to my pages, and these are actually scraps of this traveler's notebook. If you want to see how I made this traveler's notebook, I will leave the tutorial for you down below in the description box, so you can check out how I made this junk journal and what is actually inside this particular traveler's notebook junk journal. So I'm going to cut off the excess papers, and I am taking my image to see where I need to add something else because I really don't like the ad that is on there. So I want to cover that up, or at least partially cover that up so it doesn't look like the ad anymore. And I decided to do some mixed media, and I picked 3 colors of distress paint, and I'm going to stencil with that on my journal page. It is something that I want to do a little bit more to also add a little bit of mixed media in my junk journals. So this traveler's notebook junk journal is more of a free form journaling for me, in between my personal journal and my art journal. So I have this stencil and I'm using the same sponge to add my colors, and that will give somewhat of a gradient. And I picked these colors as a reference to the image that I chose. So I am going to document my struggle with perfectionism today, and it's something that is very, very hard to deal with because you always feel like you're not good enough. And I have learned a lot in these past couple of years about perfectionism, about my own perfectionism. But every time when I do a new step or a new project or do something that I'm not comfortable with, I tend to have a very, very bad case of perfectionism. Even though no one tells me that I don't do my job good or I'm not a good person, I think that about myself. And I think that's the key with perfectionism, and also why it's so hard, because you tend to discard other people's opinions or other people's compliments because you don't agree with them. And why you don't agree with them is absolutely not realistic, because how do I say that? Even when my client is happy, or even when someone tells me, I'm so happy with the end result, I love what you did, I'm still thinking, oh yeah, do you, or are you just being nice? Because that is how bad my perfectionism is. So I wanted to document that and also talk a little bit about that, because I think that I am not the only one having this struggle, and it's a very self-destructive struggle because it can make you feel like you are not going to start any new adventures anymore because it gives a lot of anxiety. You're just being very, very nasty to yourself, and it gives a lot of anxiety, and anxiety of not being good enough, anxiety of being rejected, anxiety of that you are not a good enough person. And that is something that I wanted to document today. So I use all of these tools, like creative tools or paper pieces that I find to turn my feelings into something on paper. So I also have these vellum pieces that I got in a Your Creative Studio kit, and I thought they really fit the vibe because you can look through them. And I feel like perfectionism is also something in layers. I don't have it with everything. I did have it with everything, but now I don't. And it's something that is, there are layers of you inside you, and That is what I wanted to portray. So I found these pieces and I thought they would fit the image that I chose. And I think the image really shows how it makes me feel when I struggle with perfectionism. So I layered them up. I also used some washi tapes to create little collages. And then I have this washi sticker book. I wanted to add something extra to this page. I don't know, it's more of an intuitive process for me. So I challenge you to do the same. Pick an image from a magazine that resonates with your feeling at the time. It doesn't have to be a sad feeling. It can also be a very, very good feeling. And try to build your page around that. It will make it a lot easier. Just really look at the image and what is in there. What colors are in there, what feeling does it give me, what is the style of the image, and try to spread that around your page to create more of a cohesion. So now I'm taking my Posca paint marker and I'm going to make some white marks to connect all of my collage bits with each other. And this is a very simple way to make it look like a whole, because you are going to doodle on top of your layers and next to your layers. So it really gives a feeling of that they are connected. And because you are going to repeat some marks, it makes it look like a whole page. I really missed something, so I'm going to add some distress oxide on the edge of my paper to give it a little bit of a border so it's not just running off my page. I don't know how to explain it. It keeps it more contained, so it keeps your eye on the page instead of off the page. And that is what I love to do. I usually do doodly borders, but for this one I decided to use this beautiful distress oxide. Now I'm going to write out my quote or what I am feeling. So usually I try to find, because I'm not very good with words all the time, especially when it comes to my feelings, I do this visual thing first and then I go online and I find, okay, I want to say something about perfectionism, but I don't have the right words for them. So this way I connect my words together with my feeling. And it says, striving for excellence feels wonderful because you're trying your very best. Perfectionism feels terrible because your work is somehow never quite good enough. And this is really how it captures my feeling about perfectionism. I love to give my best self and do new things, but the perfectionism also makes it very hard. So I really wanted to document that. I also stamped the date on my page several times because I don't know, I like the messy look. And I'm giving some highlights to my magazine image to give it a little bit more of myself, but also pop it a little bit more off the page. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. I would also love it if you would consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Put the notification bell on all notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you all so much for watching and I hope to see you all next time. Bye!